All right, guys, we got this to jump into today. Um, we had another ICE-involved shooting in Minneapolis. I waited to make this video today, not only because I was busy, but I wanted to see more video come out and just kind of reserve my opinion. My initial opinion is always on the default of fuck these people, I don't care. I really don't. And I could see the leftists out there on X and everything. They're like, oh, now all of a sudden conservatives don't like guns. And it's like, oh, well, we do like guns and we think people should have guns. We just don't think you should bring them to confront, law enforcement officers with them because you don't like what the law enforcement officers are doing by, enforcing our laws. But beyond that, let's take a look at the actual event that happened. And here it is right here.
They're doing too much, man, and they keep pushing people, you know?
Oh shit! What the fuck? They killed him? Did they fucking kill that guy? Are you fucking kidding me, dude?
Did you notice how quickly Dude Talkin's voice went from gangster to bitch in like 30 seconds? Just saying. And then this is what happened immediately afterwards, of course. Also, you could kind of, you couldn't really hear it because these guys were in a building, but that was going on in the video as well from other angles. What you're seeing here was kind of going on in the same video. So let's just take a look at that. All right, so there you see usual leftist nonsense. And we had this come out from the idiot that went into the church. Army vet detained by ICE for 8 hours, says he wasn't allowed to call an attorney. On this same topic, I just wanted to talk about that really quick. A judge, grand jury, actually indicted Don Lemon on the charges that he should have received, but they stopped shy of issuing an arrest warrant. So if you hear people complaining that Trump and Pam Bondi aren't doing enough there, you can tell them to kiss it. So here's some more video of that incident. Let's take a look.
So before any of this happened, he was already fanning the flames. And what's interesting about
Jonathan,
that is...
really quickly, I'm sorry, I'm going to interrupt you right now because we're watching live pictures right now. It looks like either Border Patrol agents or law enforcement agents are taking down someone right now and arresting them. And we can see what's been happening here in the last several minutes is that this is just becoming an intense situation. And I don't see any other local law enforcement in the area. I know that Garrett Tenney said state police are on the scene. Let's actually go back live to Garrett Tenney if we can, because I think he's right next to this camera. Garrett, can you hear me?
Yeah, Aisha.
What are we watching
are on
here?
the opposite side of this intersection. So I'm not sure exactly where our other roving cameras, but you can see just down the street here. Can we turn around here, Tom? You can see there is...
So before any of this happened, he was...
All right, so the usual just anarchy happening. I can get rid of that one too. So here's I think this is the same video from inside the restaurant. Let me see here. Yeah, somebody put music in the background. I'm trying, I think I bookmarked the one. This is the same one. He says he's 51 years old. He's not. I guess he was in his 30s. Now, I do want to mention that the narrative is that Border Patrol removed his gun and then shot him multiple times. Well, when you've got people doing things like this, screaming, whistling, blowing whistles, acting like retards, that's what's going to happen because these guys can't hear. These guys can't hear very well when that's happening and when you're screaming and so on. So the protesters, if that's true, are just as much to blame as the governor and the mayor and all the leftists that are saying that you should be able to shoot ICE. They're the same people that told this guy it would be a good idea to come confront these officers with the gun on him. So this is what the police chief had to say. This is about a 41-second clip. This tells you everything you need to know.
9:03 a.m. this morning, Minneapolis police received a report of a shooting involving federal law enforcement in the area of East 26th Street and Nicollet Avenue on the south side of the city. Officers arrived and have found an adult male with multiple gunshot wounds when they arrived. Life-saving aid was being rendered, and he was transported by ambulance to Hennepin County Medical Center, where he was later pronounced deceased. Based on the information,
One less
that we have,
Democrat
which is
voter.
very
That's what they keep doing. They're just killing their base.
limited, this is a 37-year-old white male who is a Minneapolis resident, and we believe he is an American citizen. Approximately 9:03 a.m. this morning.
All right. So then they blamed ICE, of course, for the actions of these people. The judge in the other case that I just told you about with Don Lemon, the reason I saved this is to show you they also didn't require, they allowed these people to leave on their own recognizance. No bail, no nothing, cashless bail. And then this is what happened to the J6ers. So just amazing, similarities there to how, we were treated versus them, right? But here you go. They have, we have this, should have stayed home and let ICE do their jobs. I agree. This is the guy that was taken out right up in the ICE officers' faces, trying to be intimidating to him, filming, probably screaming beforehand like the rest of the idiots. That's what he looked like. And then we had this from Cam Higby come out at the same time, but I'll get to that later. Here's Tim Walz. Listen to this cuck.
Well, I spoke twice this morning, shortly after I received the call of this shooting. I spoke with the President's Chief of Staff, and first request was to get her people out of there, to get these federal agents out of there. They were going to cause more chaos. And second call is, with no uncertain terms, that we will investigate this. We will not be stonewalled. What we've already seen, and you saw it this morning.
Sorry about that.
Before any investigation is done, you have the most powerful people in the federal government spinning stories and putting up pictures, and unrelated people who we don't know anything about, and a picture of a firearm to try and spin a narrative.
And he ended up with having a firearm. Do you see what these people do? They always defend the bad guy. Always defend the bad guy.
I ask Americans, this will end when enough Americans say this will end. Do I have any confidence Donald Trump will do the right thing? No, I don't have a lot of confidence Donald Trump.
Nobody has confidence that you'll do the right thing. That's the funny part. He's the one not doing the right thing. We just saw him the other day with his little megaphone talking over his little private fence to all these rioters, tell them that they're doing a good job and so on. So, yeah, give me a fucking break, dude.
Will do the right thing. I do have a lot of confidence that the majority of the American people will do the right thing. And I think there cannot be very many people across this country looking right now, after all the reporting that's been done, after everything that's been said, under the pretense that they are here about immigration reform, and quit referring to these people as law enforcement. They are not law enforcement.
And that's why people keep getting shot. Him doing that is the most dangerous thing that these people are doing right now. They are getting their base, their crazy, unhinged, lunatic base, to believe that ICE is not law enforcement. ICE are federal agents. They have the ability to arrest you if they see you committing a crime. It could be not an immigration crime. You could be breaking into a car. If ICE is driving past when you're doing that and you're an American citizen, they have full authority to arrest you. If you block, obstruct, impede, intimidate, harass ICE officers and stop them and prevent them from doing their job, which includes blowing whistles, by the way. When you're blowing whistles when they're trying to make an arrest, you're giving away their location, you're making it more safe, and you're thereby impeding the arrest that they're trying to make, because then the bad guy, the rapist, murderer, pedophile that these people seem to love, can escape. So this guy, he needs to be removed from office. I will say one thing. I love Trump to death and everything, but he should have declared the Insurrection Act a long time ago. I don't know what he's waiting for. I'm sure there's a reason, but in my opinion, whatever that reason is, I think he just needs to declare it and send in the military. I'm sorry, but when you're having, and then these people spin the optics. Oh, look at mean old ICE. What they're trying to do is get their base riled up so that this keeps happening, so that they can use this as an excuse to get rid of ICE and stop these deportations of their voters and of the people that they protect who bring money into their pockets through fraud. Look at Ilhan Omar.
We have
Allegedly.
who do an incredible job. And to listen to Greg Bovino denigrate the work of our people who are out there cleaning up their mess, no, I don't have a lot of confidence that he himself will do it.
By saying that if you would just allow your officers to work with ICE when they're going to release somebody instead of releasing over 450 bad guys onto the street so that ICE has to go track them down, that's denigrating them. Your cops are a bunch of fucking losers because they're following your instructions. They're breaking federal law, by the way, a law that Bill Clinton passed back in the 90s that allowed them to work with ICE. They're following unconstitutional orders while saying that what they're seeing from ICE is unconstitutional. What they're seeing from ICE is the law that Democrats and Republicans passed years ago.
But here's what I do have confidence in. There's a whole lot of Republicans, for whatever reason, cannot find their spine. But they might find the ability to know that they're not going
I don't know why that just gas it, dude. You notice that they take turns getting in front of it because it actually hurts even at that speed to get hit by a vehicle. Renee Good. So there you have that. That's what's going on down there. This guy here, he's claims he's in Minneapolis, claims he's like King
Kyle.
Cobra of Antifa here. Just another beta. This guy calls himself Kyle, they say. Shamefully calls him on people to get guns and attack ICE. Says he's in Minneapolis and close to where the incident on Saturday happened. This guy needs to be arrested immediately and jailed. Nobody, I don't know why people post this and then don't tag the FBI, but I'm sure people did in comments. But here we go. Let's take a listen to this retard really quick.
My name is Kyle. I'm Antifa, and there's so much rage in me that I've had to record this like 15 times trying to get the message out. They fucked up, okay? Go watch my other videos. Doesn't matter if you're not here and you're not caught up. You missed the fucking fight. But if you are, it's time to suit up. Boots on the ground. Nicollet and fucking 26th. My house is 4 blocks away. Anywhere between Franklin and Nicollet and 26th and Nicollet. Show up, ready to go. Okay, not talking about peaceful protests anymore. We're not talking about having polite conversations anymore. I am talking specifically to my fucking followers. This is everything I have fucking talked about, and this is exactly what I said was gonna happen. This is exactly what I said was gonna fucking come when we didn't fucking go and march on fucking Whipple with guns. Sorry, but welcome to America 2026, where Second Amendment is the only thing that's gonna keep you fucking protected from literal fucking Nazi gunmen that are killing innocent people in the street with impunity. This is not a fucking joke. There's nothing fun to chant about it. Get your fucking guns and stop these fucking people.
All right, so he kind of gives away his location, I think, unless he was just trying to be a distracting with that. I always try to talk about a little bit of fraud here when I do these. I told you if I can find anything on it, I try to talk about it. So you want to hear something funny? Today's ice shooting took place at 2614 Nicollet in Minneapolis. Ironically, here's a list of all the businesses listed at this one address. Smart Therapy Center. And that's the sign right here. Smart Therapy Center, LLC. Then he says New American Development Center. There's the other one here. New American Development Center and Nicollet Senior Center. So basically we're looking at probably, you know, the Leering Center situation going on here. Not even kidding. So you have that situation going on. That's probably fraud. This happened today as well during a protest. I heard it was a transmission that did this. Leftist just bit an ICE officer's fingers off. I'm not kidding. And from what I understood, Kristi Noem held a press conference, and this is probably he's gonna lose the finger. So we've got that going on. These people are violent militants. I just wanted to go ahead and play this. This is what they were dealing with, guys. This is the sound. These are the sounds they were dealing with when they were trying to hear each other talk, when this guy had a gun on him. So you can make excuses all you want, and I'll play something from Liberal Hive Mind in a moment. He says exactly what I was thinking once I got the whole story. I watched it on the way to pick my kid up from work, and I'm like, you know what? He's saying exactly what I was going to say. I'll just play his video.
What the fuck is wrong with you? The fuck, people? The fuck is wrong with you? Honestly.
These are the people that are supposed to bring guns. They hear a gun and they freak out. That's the funny part. All right, so then we've got this. They're like basically admitting that they know the dude was in the wrong, but they're not going to come out and say it. Even if he drew his gun, they didn't have to shoot him so many times, as if that matters, right? And this is what I was telling you earlier. Appellate court or whatever finds evidence to charge Don Lemon over church protest, but won't face arrest warrant. That's coming from John Solomon there. And this is the strongly worded letter. No, I'm just kidding. This is a statement by the family of the guy. This is another we didn't do nothing type deal. We are heartbroken, but also very angry. Alex was a kind-hearted soul, cared deeply for his family and friends. Not enough to not fuck around with ICE agents, though. And also the American veterans whom he cared for as an ICU nurse in the Minneapolis VA hospital. Well, you know, if he loved his job so much, maybe perhaps he should have stayed off the streets and stopped interfering with ICE and getting in their faces and so on. Alex wanted to make a difference in this world. Well, he certainly did. Unfortunately, he will not be with us to see his impact. I do not throw around the hero term lightly. However, his last thought and act was to protect a woman. The sickening lies told about our son by the administration are reprehensible and disgusting. Alex is clearly not holding a gun when attacked by Trump's murderingly, I wonder what their political leanings are, murdering and cowardly ICE thugs. He has his phone in his right hand and his empty left hand is raised above his head while trying to protect a woman ICE just pushed down while being pepper sprayed. Please get the truth out about our son. He was a good man. Thank you. So anyway, I don't really care. I don't care that he's dead. I don't care that they pushed this woman down. What I care about is that they get these people off the streets that don't belong here. And these people impeding, they deserve whatever they get. That's me. I have become full on. I've been watching these people be violent assholes for over 10 years now. I have no sympathy for any of them. And I could care less about, you know, unity and working along. And they feel the same. And I'm good with that. I could care less what happens to them at this point. They want a better country. Go pick one and move to it. A lot of them are doing that, from what I hear. They're all going to Europe. They can, you know what happens in Europe to white women. That's fine with me. That can happen too. Anyway, let's take a listen to Liberal Hive Mind. This is exactly, he pretty much sums up what I was going to say. I've kind of alluded to it today already in this video, and we'll play this. I might add my 2 cents here and there, and then I'll be done. I'll talk to you all soon after this. Yeah, we're having a little bit of audio issues here. I'm trying to figure out why. Let me see here. Let me try to figure out what's going on. 1 second. I might just have to switch browsers. I don't know what's going on with this browser. Is it muted, maybe? No, it's not. That's so weird. That's so weird. Really quick. That's what it is. There we go. There we go.
Focused on exposing the abundant hypocrisy of the left. And of course, here's the meme of the day brought to you by FiveMind.com. Well, unfortunately, I was right again. My prediction was right on the money. And I'm not saying that to gloat because, it's not exactly a prediction that I'm happy about. But I've been saying this basically all year. Things are going to get worse. Things are going to get crazier. The closer we get to 2026, the more chaotic everything will become. I said very clearly, if you thought the Tesla riots were the worst, if you thought the government shutdown was going to be the last of the craziness, well, you have another thing coming. Democrats will continue to sow chaos up until the day they regain their political power. And so, of course, the chaos continues, or rather the chaos escalates here. Holy friggin' crap. The situation in Minnesota continues to be completely unhinged and uncontrollable, and that's now led to a situation where an armed rioter met the ultimate faith in an encounter with CBP agents. And of course, you know exactly what the left is going to run with. They're now making the argument that it was an execution in broad daylight, a totally unjustified execution. And of course, the media is going to run with it, just like they did with Renee Good. But obviously, this lethal encounter is only unjustified if you omit all the most important factors, all the surrounding context. It's only unjustified if you cherry pick particular points, like his firearm being removed by one of the agents on scene, and then ignore every other factor. So as per usual, everyone's getting all emotional. Let's try to cut through all that emotion, all the hysteria, and of course all the partisan gamesmanship, and let's simply analyze the facts here. Let's try to do some common sense analysis. Let me show you guys exactly what I think. We got some stuff to get into, so let's roll the tape. All right, folks, so first off, we have to acknowledge the crux of the left-wing argument. We have to acknowledge what appears to be the case. I've seen multiple video footage, and it does appear as though the individual's firearm was taken by one of the CBP agents on scene.
In the playoffs, you need to find that extra
course.
gear. The betting is live.
I have it on my other. There we go.
And this, of course, is what the entire left-wing argument is predicated upon. They took his firearm, therefore, the threat was nullified, and then they just executed him for literally no reason, as if federal officers would just shoot someone without feeling any perceived threat. But the real world obviously doesn't move in slow motion. And while it appears as though they took the firearm and there was all kinds of time, that obviously wasn't the situation. And when you look at the footage, the time between the shots and the firearm being removed from the suspect is actually less than 1 second. And obviously there was some sort of miscommunication there. The officer who took that weapon off of the suspect didn't make that clear to his colleagues. And so you have less than 1 second where this individual who's resisting arrest, who's being physical with these officers, he was identified to be holding a deadly weapon. It appeared at one point as if he was grabbing something, Agents are yelling gun, 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 and then lethal force was used. It's not as cut and dry as the left is making it seem.
And that's exactly right. And especially when you're running around blowing whistles and screaming and up and like you got this broad in the back, like I showed you earlier, like she's obviously yelling something up close to the situation. They don't know what she's doing. They're trying to keep an eye on everybody around them because whenever they take somebody down, there's always other people that usually rush up, not always, but usually that rush up and try to assault them and so on. They end up having to pepper spray those people, head off canisters and so on. It's this would have not happened if these people would have just stay at home and be normal individuals rather than try to protect pedophiles. That's literally what I'm saying.
CBP and ICE officers are under immense pressure, and you have people on the streets here who have been radicalized to confront them in these operations, in this case with deadly weapons, being physical with them, confronting them, obstructing them, resisting arrest, fighting them off. I mean, what do you think is going to happen in this environment? You have an unhinged leftist mob on the streets going after these officers, not to mention all the noise, the blowing of whistles like crazy. The officers themselves can't hear properly. People are screaming everywhere. They're under attack. How are they expected to be 100% perfect and analyze the entire situation, analyze the threat perfectly in half a freaking second with all of this going on? Again, if you ignore all of that, all of the most important context and just say the weapon was removed, therefore, then sure, you could come to the conclusion that this was unjustified. But if you have half a brain and if you're honest, you're going to look at the whole picture. And the obvious issue here is the Democrat mob, this chaotic environment that Democrats are enabling. The truth of the matter is that CBP agents should not have to deal with this to begin with. And you also notice that all of this, it's all happening in Minneapolis and Minnesota. Well, that tells you all that you need to know. We're not seeing this kind of chaos happening in Republican states where the governors are actually complying with federal agents. And we're not even seeing this in other Democrat states. No, only in radical Minneapolis, Minnesota, the same place where we saw the George Floyd riots. Yeah, I think the common denominator here is that far leftists and Democrat leaders in the state of Minnesota will enable abject chaos, will continue to cause this chaos and frankly engineer these tragedies because they believe that it's useful to them politically when Donald Trump is in charge. And again, we're stuck in this situation where it's being politicized. You know, we can't actually have a proper debate with the left. We can't analyze these situations at all because for the left, it's a foregone conclusion.
Even the family politicized it in their statement that I just read you. But you get the gist. He's saying exactly what I'm saying. I was going to just play this last, but then I forgot that I had bookmarked well, I didn't forget, but I forgot that I had told you that I would take a look at this Cam Higby post. And I think that it's important that we do. He actually infiltrated the Minneapolis signal group, and organizational signal groups all around the Minneapolis, with the sole intention of tracking down federal agents and impeding, assaulting, and obstructing them. Buckle up and all will be revealed. These are all the names of the people that are in this signal chat. So Cam Higby's been on it, and I would suggest, I know that you guys probably want to see this yourself. It's on X, Cam Higby, it was posted today. Perhaps this is why they sent out crazy people to try to assault ICE today even more, but whatever. I've been undercover inside groups for days. You'll notice emojis next to people's names. Here's a key for what those emojis mean. The highlighted positions are the most crucial. Most are self-explanatory. Mobile patrols spend their entire shift searching for suspicious vehicles. When they find one, they send it to the group that plate checkers can compare with their database to see if it's known federal vehicle or if the patrol can make the confirmation so that the database can be updated. Dispatch runs a maxed out call all day, telling protesters where ICE has been spotted and how they can be best impeded. So this is the part of this that I find interesting, the plate checkers. You would have to be some sort of law enforcement, I do believe, to be able to look up people's plates like that. If I'm not mistaken, then tell me in comments. But yeah, so this is what he's showing you: dispatch, mobile patrol, plate checker. And then you go down here and it says Minneapolis signal infiltrated. For each occupation or shift position, protesters have to undergo training. It's unclear what the training entails other than numerous slides of instruction. I've seen it mentioned repeatedly who is paying for this. So here's that, and it says, admin post tonight, we will offer Bloomington Patrol training at 8:00 p.m. A signal call is limited to 75 users, blah, blah, blah. And then this person here complains that they got in the first time, they weren't active, so they felt bad and left, and then are upset because they can't get in again. And then we've got Minneapolis signal infiltrated. Each chat for a specific part of each city has smaller districts broken up within it called patrol zones, which guide ICE chasers on where they should be positioned. And then here's sharing Bloomington patrol zone map, which is loosely based on city council districts. There you go. And then we've got, here's a screen recording of their plate database, as well as a link to its instructions. So the database is not even necessarily a cop. It's these idiots just assuming that it's ICE, which would it makes sense if you go there from Texas, why you would get harassed by these morons. They just think you're ICE. Here's a screenshot of active dispatch call. It's always active, as well as a shift change. You can see folks are changing their emojis, clocking in and clock and out. I'll also attach below a video of dispatch actually tracking the vehicle I was in, claiming they were confirmed ICE, or that we were confirmed ICE. They constantly misidentify vehicles. Pay attention to emojis and tagged on plates. But here we go. Let's take
white Chevy Silverado with the newly changed plates with the coexist sticker on the back. We're on Irving and Lake Street going north on Irving. We seem to be the only commuters following. Just wanted to give an update on our location.
Thank you. Do you have anyone in the car with you?
Yes, I do.
Lovely. Thank you.
And we are getting a photo sent to the chat for confirmation.
This is John 612. That we are at Grand and Lake. We're heading toward Irving. We can try and join you.
All right, so you get the gist. They're well-organized terrorists. And then we got here's a recording of protesters actively tailing the vehicles and labeling me as ICE and instructing communities ICE to follow me. And then what's this here?
We're not ICE. Why are you guys
Oh, yeah, I
us?
remember this.
And they leave, like, right when we get out of the car. We're not ICE. We're not ICE. We're filming them because they were following us.
Well, you look suspicious as fuck.
Oh, they're cops now. See, these people are the actual fascist guys. That's what they want. They hate the police and they want to be the police. Somebody keeps saying that, and I can't remember who says it, but it's true. Leave and delete, new chat. 123, leave and delete. And this is a new group chat for each zone is made each day. The chats are dated and deleted at the end of each day. This is likely to avoid detection, record keeping, and consequences. My midday, I think he meant to say by midday, the group chats hit maximum capacity, 1,000 people allowed by signal, and people who are not chasing federal agents are asked to leave to create the room for those who are. The dispatch calls also reach maximum capacity constantly. I believe it's 50 people maximum, which means at any given time in each small zone, there are 50 people chasing agents, which is ridiculous. The quasi-police force uses a system called Salute, which calls out the size of federal units, activity, locations, uniforms, times, and locations. Did I read locations twice? No, he typed it twice. Okay. They then instruct their ICE chasers to follow and confront agents at their known locations right here. You can see that a little better. I was just trying to, there we go. And then it says they are everywhere and local police are cooperating. Here's an observer calls out possible agent, but says she's just out walking her dog and can't continue on. Dispatch called for backup. Also below is a message indicating that local PD may get involved if ICE hinders public safety. And he's showing that right there. Not clearly on foot walking the dog, so had to leave the scene. Jurisdiction to call back if they hindered public safety. So they are working with the cops. So you probably do have a cop that's reading some of these plates. These thugs apparently have a home base, though I haven't been able to identify it. Here's an ICE chaser indicating that he's expected there. It says heading east on foot. Home base is expecting me. Should be off call in 15 minutes. I bet Renee Good and them were in it. Her little wife there. Big wife, rather. Here are chasers discussing what should be done after realizing they positively identified my vehicle as ICE, but then found out it was me. I believe this person might be the aggressive individual in the second photo. So then this is it right here. This is his Ford, blah, 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 blah. And then here's more dispatch chatter where they tweak out when they discover a vehicle. Whistles and horns can be heard in the background. The dispatcher asked for photos and videos of the plate for documentation purposes. Now, I feel like Cam did a good job here, but I also feel like I'm not going to read through all this. Obviously, there's a lot. So I would suggest if you're interested in this to go to Cam Higby's page on X and look through it. But I feel like the government already knows this, and that's why they're documenting them as well and building their own database. I think that they're doing that for that very purpose. But anyway, guys, that's really all I got for you on this whole thing today. I will be making more videos. Basically, the cold weather, we just got a new, like an old new plow truck that's going to take, it's a beater, but we're going to fix it up and stuff. So a lot of stuff just happened all at once this week. And I'm just trying to get caught up, wood to stay warm for this weather and all that. So anyway, guys, that is what I got for you. I hope you all have a great rest of your weekend. I'm going to try to do my private live tomorrow for those who are interested, and then it will be released publicly once my closest friends and followers actually get their private live. Then I release it to you, to the rest of you guys. All right, guys, I will talk to you soon. Peace out.